Hey guys, welcome to today's video of Digital Wasteland. Today we're going to be discussing, excuse me, passwords and password managers. There is nothing more important than secure passwords. People have a tendency to be very, very predictable when it comes to passwords. Even though they think they're not being predictable, they are being predictable. And that's actually kind of funny because, as an example, if you are buying things off of Amazon, let's use that as an example. Of course, you need a password to access Amazon. Now, Amazon has credit card information on you, right? People could go, if people hack that account, they can change the address and go buy things, right? They can also they can find out an awful lot about you by hacking that account. But you know how many people use the word Amazon or books in their password when it comes to something like that? It's phenomenal just how bad passwords are, right? So today we're going to look at using strong passwords. Now, strong passwords consist of as many characters as possible for the website. At very, very least, 8 to 10 characters. 16 is better. And a combination of letters, upper and lower case, numbers, and special characters. Okay? And use a different password for every website that you're on. Now, that makes things challenging because you're not going to be able to remember those. I've got a great memory. I can remember a lot of my passwords. However, I use the password manager because I don't particularly also want to have wrong attempts. And some of the sites that I use are very, very important sites with data on them, and I just use the password manager straight out for those because the passwords, some of them, I have actually a couple that are 64 characters long. So let's take a look first at some possible password managers. I'm going to recommend two here. Now, the first one I'm going to recommend is the one that I use, which is called KeePass. Now, in the repository for Linux Mint, there is KeePass 2, which I used for a very long time. I just switched to this newer one here, which is KeePass XC. KeePass 2 is great. I like to keep current because you always get new features. Now, KeePass XC is not yet in the repositories for the software manager. Now, if you go in and search KeePass XC, it isn't there yet, as of this particular time. However, usually after something comes out, it only takes a couple of weeks before it's in all the repositories anyway, and you don't need to go to the website. Now, in this particular case, I go to the website, and the website has sensed the fact that I'm using Linux. So it sends me right to, it doesn't bother to give me a Windows option here. And in this particular case, I picked my version of Linux that I'm using. Now, Linux Mint is an Ubuntu version. Right? And this is the only thing that I need to do to install it on Ubuntu or on Linux Mint is copy and paste this into my terminal and enter my password, and it will go ahead and install it. Now, this command here, this, for those of you who've never used a terminal, this is sudo or sudo. Sudo is properly the way it should be said, but I say sudo. It stands for super user do. That changes you to root momentarily to install. This is the application that installs packages, word install, and KeePass. Now, if this gets you nothing, it means you have to use this version up here. Right? Because you're going to need to install the PPA repository. You may not have them installed yet because this is a PPA package. Now, the wonderful thing about KeePass is that it does not use the cloud for storage. You do not want your passwords stored in the cloud. That is low-hanging fruit. And low-hanging fruit is just a bad idea. You can imagine the number of hackers that assault password repositories for obvious reasons. Right? There's good money in that for them. They crack a password repository. That's a lot of information that they can sell off to those who are looking to do harm. Right? So definitely, there are some instances where you have to have one, and those will typically relate to businesses. And oftentimes, those passwords are backed up with a different type of authentication after the fact, so it's not quite as critical. As an example, having to enter a two-factor authentication code or that, but stay out of the cloud. Right? You don't need it. Back up your KeePass repository to somewhere physical. Put it on a thumb drive. It's a great way to make sure that you've always got it. Or put it in an encryption vault and put it on into cloud storage like Nextcloud. Because if it's encrypted up in the vault, it doesn't do any good. Right? There's all sorts of ways to make sure you can do well with that. I'll show you KeePass in a little bit here. The next one that I would recommend is Roboform. Now, Roboform has a cloud version. Don't bother with it. Right? Nothing wrong with the cloud version. This is how they make money, is on their cloud version. But Roboform is excellent. It also has a plugin for most browsers, which works very, very, very well. Now, I suggest just using the free version. Right? Now, Roboform is available cross-platform. I used it for a long time, but I don't want to say that. See, it has not sensed that I'm using Linux. It's giving me an exe file, which is useless. But you can get Roboform out of your repository with no problem whatsoever. Right? Let's see if they even talk about Linux here. I would imagine that they do talk about, yeah, here we go. Now it's figured out I'm on Linux. Right? And again, this is available cross-platform, which makes it an extremely good choice for you. Now, I use KeePass. Just load it up here. This is what KeePass looks like inside. It gets divided up into groups, right? You make your own groups, obviously, and consists of title for it, username, password, URL, and all of that. And the beautiful thing about it is, as I load this up, Control U will. I prefer key bindings over anything else. Control U will load it up. And this is GitHub. Right now I'm already logged into GitHub, so it's not going to do any good to show you. But if you come to, let's see here, let's sign out. So you can get an example here. I don't want to sign up, I want to sign in. So here it's looking for the username. I can go over here to this, Control V, and it will fill in my information for me, and you can't see how long that password is, and log you in. Right? Just a fantastic method of doing this type of thing, so you don't have to remember all these extraordinarily long passwords. Right? That's going to be it for today's video. I just want to make sure that you guys are thinking about your passwords. Make secure passwords. There is nothing more important. Otherwise, you will get hacked. There is just no way around it. You know, it reminds me, I get people going, oh, it probably won't happen to me. No, it will happen to you. It's not a probably won't, it is a how long it will take till it happens. I don't know if you guys remember Die Hard 3, the movie, Bruce Willis in it. This is the one where they're stealing gold out of the repository. Really decent movie. But at the beginning of the movie, as part of the game that is being played to distract the cops, Bruce Willis's character has to go into Harlem with just his boxer shorts on, wearing a sandwich board sign that is extremely racist. Right? If you remember the movie, you remember what the sign said. Now, doing something like that, it's not just a case of, will I get in trouble? It's how long will you be alive? Because someone is going to kill you for doing something like that. Right? And it's exactly the same when it comes to your passwords. If your passwords are repeated everywhere, your accounts are going to get hacked. It's just a matter of time. I've had accounts from years and years ago hacked. I had an email not that long ago from somebody that said, we have your password for such and such an account, and we've gotten in and we found all this stuff about you, and if you don't give us $2,000 in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, we're going to expose this. And then they gave me the password I used. Well, I haven't used that password in 10 years, so I don't give a shit. Right? There's nothing on that site. Right? So I just ignored it. I would ignore it anyway. Right? You don't play the game with these people. The odds are they're bluffing something anyway. But because the real ones are stealing the information and selling it in the underground to people who want the information for nefarious reasons. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Below is going to be some important information for you about web browsers, VPNs, all sorts of stuff. Plus, we have a new Facebook group. I would love it if you guys would come over and join us on the Facebook group, give you a chance to ask questions. I also post the videos there. Starting today, I'm going to be posting this video there for people to watch. Have a great day, guys, and we'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.